Hello and welcome into another edition of Blizzard Warning. I'm back. Jenna Chavez is here with me tonight. No Kyzer today. I'm dealing with some stuff, but we are back. People are healthy. We've dealt with our family issues and everything, so it's nice to see you guys again. It's been a few weeks. Jenna, how you been?
Good. How have you been, Scott?
I have been okay, all things considered.
Good.
Getting ready to get back into everything. We are officially back. We're going to try and get back to our weekly show. Hopefully, no more hiccups or interruptions or anything else like that. If you're joining us from Facebook, please allow StreamYard permissions to provide your information. That way we know who we're talking to on the other end, because it's hard to give people props or what's going on if all I see is a Facebook user. If you're joining us from the YouTube channel, welcome. Permissions are already granted there, and we have no issues finding out who our YouTube watchers are there. If you're interested in any delicious seasonings for your steaks, eggs, chicken, pork, anything else like that, Willow Seasonings and Blends is a great person to use. They're our official sponsor of the Colorado Sports Connection. You can use the code CSC2024 to earn 15% off of your online purchase. I'm a big fan of their salt, pepper, and believe it was like a garlic blend. I really enjoyed it. Really good dry rub. Use it on a lot of my proteins. So check them out. Really good stuff over there. So we had an awesome month of January, Jenna, with the Colorado Avalanche, as they went 9-3-0 in the month of January, which was super impressive getting into this All-Star, this NHL bye week, and then the All-Star weekend, which starts tomorrow. So we're getting closer to the Avs returning to play, but I mean, what a month. McKinnon's still on fire. Makar's doing his thing.
Yep.
We're seeing Logan O'Connor step up. Georgiev had a great month. I believe he played in all but one of our games during that month. I think he went 8-3-0, and Justus Annunen got in there for a game and went 1-0 in his starts. What did you think about the Avs in the month of January?
They looked amazing. They played really good hockey. I think they've worked through the chemistry issues. Chemistry's looking good. Georgiev had a great month. He looked really good. So I'm very pleased with what I see, and I think it's good timing going into the All-Star break and then gearing up for hopefully playoffs.
I think that is the big hope for a lot of us in seeing the success that the Avs have had. The team looks like they're starting to gel a little bit better. The chemistry is really starting to pick up from what we saw in the beginning part of the season. Georgiev looks a little more comfortable in that because the defensive standards that are being placed in front of him. I mean, the last two games alone, I think he only allowed a total of 3 goals. Did some math the other night, or last night, I think. While Georgiev is continuing to improve, leads the NHL in wins, he also leads the NHL in number of games played. I believe he's played 39 games, I think is what I saw that he's played.
For Georgiev?
Yeah.
Let's see.
He's played a number of games.
41 is what I have.
41 of 49 games. So yeah, he's played the lion's share of games for the Avalanche. I believe that's I think that's like an 88% clip for Alexander Georgiev, and we'll dive more into that as the show progresses, as we talk about potential trade options and all this other stuff for the Colorado Avalanche. Speaking of trades, and something I didn't add in our notes or acquisition, stuff like that. The Avalanche went out and signed Zach Parise to a 1-year deal for the rest of this season. Zach Parise is 39 years old. If you don't know Zach Parise, which some may not, some do, former winger for the New Jersey Devils, had a great career there. Ended up signing a big Supermax deal, which was one of the first ones I think we ever kind of saw. I think it was like a 13-year deal for like $93 million, something like that. And it was just a crazy signing with the Minnesota Wild. I think 7 years into that deal, the Minnesota Wild were starting to see some cracks and everything, and decided to release him. They still owed him a ton of money because he went through on waivers, unclaimed, and everything. So they're still on the hook for all that money. Parise is still making a lot of money without having to play. But the Avs signed him to a veteran minimum contract. I think it was like 1.15 or something like that. Pretty small amount, but they used up what cap space they had for this signing, which is interesting to say the least. He's 39 years old. I don't expect him to play a lot on the second line. I, for one, not a huge fan of this signing just because I don't know how his speed is going to translate to what the Avs typically play. But he does have some playoff experience. He does have some veteran presence. He did score 21 goals with I believe, the New York Islanders last year in a full season. So he might be able to chip in a little bit there. Jenna, any additional thoughts on?
I don't know very much about Parise. I didn't get to read up on too much, but I know it's mixed reactions among the fans.
Yeah, it's I think it's about 50-50. Some fans are really happy with the signing.
Yeah.
Others are a little I don't know, about it, but it definitely means it's not very often I see Joe Sakic or Chris McFarland miss on an acquisition, a talent acquisition or something like that. And usually they've been pretty good. This year we've had some other concerns with other players that we've signed. Ryan Johansson hasn't been the second line center that we really thought he was going to be for us. And to be fair there, that's kind of expected. Ryan Johansson wasn't necessarily a great second line center in Nashville. He's more of their third line guy, didn't get a ton of ice time, and that expectation for him to rise to the occasion hasn't been met with much success.
No.
But it's hard to repeat the success you had with Nazem Kadri as your second line center with other individual players. Nazem Kadri is was clearly capable of being a first line, second line center in his time at Toronto, but ran into disciplinary actions and stuff like that there. So he got a second opportunity here, worked out, got a bigger contract, went with another team. So it is what it is. But we do have some amazing players on this team. Some players who are up for potential awards and could potentially win those awards, as both Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar are both in award races in their own right. And Makar could join the conversation for MVP if he picks up some steam. But we're going to start with Nathan MacKinnon. It's on our streamer, our little slider right there. You can see the information for Nathan MacKinnon right there. Right now, Nathan MacKinnon is projected by ESPN to hit 141 points on the season. I think the exact number was like 52 goals and 89 assists, and we'll dive some more into that with other MVP projections here shortly. But he currently has 31 goals and 53 assists on the season and is doing an amazing job.
It's so good.
I mean, you're looking at he had the hat trick with an additional goal. People are throwing undergarments on the ice.
Not people, specific people.
Hey, Connor McDavid, I don't think you got any undergarments on the ice, so you must not be doing something right.
I'm not doing it right.
But, I mean, this guy is just freaking above and beyond anything you could possibly ask for, and looks to be the MVP favorite behind. We've got Nikita Kucherov, who currently leads in total points with 85. Graham, go back up. I'm still using that other one. We'll get to that one in a second. But it's going to be a close race, and I'm looking at these total numbers that I pulled for Nathan MacKinnon in 2022-23, just last season. In 71 games played, MacKinnon had 42 goals, 69 assists. That's 111 points. That's pretty great. But he dealt with those injuries in the
I was
beginning of
saying
the
he missed
season.
time though.
Yeah, he missed the beginning of the season with I think like 5-6 games, and then he missed another stint in December for a little bit. So, I mean, 111 points in that season, last season, compared to where he's at right now with 84 points. He's only, what is it, 18? That's 29 points away from what he set last year, and he's played every single game. He's played all 49 games.
All
There's 33
49.
games left in the season. And if they're projecting him for 141 points, that's an additional, I think, 60 or 50 something odd points across 33 games. So you're looking at almost a 2-point a night, possibility for Nathan MacKinnon in order to keep that pace, which he could potentially do. I mean, he's on the ice 25, 28 minutes a night right now. So if you're skating that much in a game, you're gonna be part of the offensive output for your team, whether it's putting the puck in the net yourself or dishing the puck out to people and getting those assists, which I think will be majority of his points is going to be the assist marks right there. Graham coming to us right now with some Flames are working on a Elias Lindholm trade right now, which is somebody the Avalanche have been trying to potentially target, or has been rumored to be with target for the Colorado Avalanche. So we'll continue to monitor that as that progresses to see if anything comes of that.
Interesting.
And I'm looking at my phone trying to make sure that stuff is out and see if that happens. So we'll continue to monitor that one. But I want to get into some interesting potential NHL records with Nathan MacKinnon. As we looked at the 141 points that he's projected for Nathan MacKinnon, that would be a franchise record for points in a season. I believe the previous I had to look it up again. I had it. I didn't leave that up here. I gotta pull that up real quick myself. But I believe the franchise record for the Colorado Avalanche is 139 points. Let's see. Points most in a season. Yeah, it's 139 points held by Peter Stastny, who set that record in 1981 during the 1981-82 season with the Quebec Nordiques. 80 games, 46 goals, 93 assists for 139 points. So dishing the puck out with Peter Stastny. So let's see what MacKinnon can do there. But there are some other things that MacKinnon can do. He is 6 assists away from his second season where he's gotten 60 or more assists. And he is 16 assists away from setting a single season career high. His highest was, or tying. I think that's tying because he's at 53. Yeah, from tying. 16 or more assists by Nathan MacKinnon will tie him for his single season career high at 69 assists. 17 assists will get him to that 70 assist plateau, which he has not done yet. So I think that's completely doable.
Oh, for sure. Especially if he keeps playing how he's been playing.
He's playing like a man possessed.
He's a man on a mission.
I've got MacKinnon sitting at home looking at his trophy case. I've got every other freaking trophy I could possibly want right now, but I need that heart. I need that heart trophy. It's like, don't care about the Richard trophy. Don't care about anything else. I want that MVP heart trophy in my display case. Right. And I'm pretty sure all the Avs fans, management, everybody wants to get that for him. So,
for sure.
We'll see what happens.
And he tied Bobby Orr for the second longest home point streak to start a season.
That he did. He got to 25 consecutive home games with a point to start the season. Ties Bobby Orr for second place. he can pass the legendary Bobby Orr with a point in their next home game, which isn't until
it's not for a minute.
It is not until February 18th when the Arizona Coyotes visit for an afternoon affair at 4 p.m. at Ball Arena. The Avs will open up the second part of the regular season after the All-Star break with a 6-game road trip on the East Coast, as they will be all East Coast. New York Rangers, Devils, work their way down into Carolina, then to Florida for a game before they come back up to Washington, then back down to Florida for the Tampa Bay Lightning. That first game in Florida is against the Panthers. Yes. So definitely going to be interesting to see there.
Longest road game of the season?
Longest road trip of the season. Yes. If we just had a 5-game road trip, this one's a 6-game. This is the longest road trip of the season. Avs are going to be on the road for what looks like to be 12 days. They have 2 days off after the Tampa Bay Lightning game when they return home. So 11 to 12 days on the road. That's a pretty long time to be on the road for an NHL team. But ESPN projections for MVP candidates right now is on our slider across the board right there. And these are just projections. These are not actual totals that are going to happen. They might happen. Who knows? But based on these projections, I think the possibility of Nathan MacKinnon getting his first MVP looks pretty solid. Nikita Kucherov, who is 1 point ahead of him right now, is projected for 80 games played, 52 goals, 87 assists, and that gives him 139 points. The Nathan MacKinnon, as I stated earlier, is projected for 141 points, and I can't spell points because I put pints instead of so that's on me.
Your mind.
Hey, got to get my beer in. Connor McDavid, who is usually the front runner for the MVP, is only projected for 122 points. David Pastrnak for the Boston Bruins, 120. And Austin Matthews, who currently leads the NHL in goals as he's already hit the 40-goal plateau, impressive, is only projected for 101 points. He doesn't dish out the assists as much as he probably should, and that's probably why Toronto does not do well in the first round of the playoffs.
Ever.
Yes, I am talking shit to the Toronto Maple Leafs. No
Maple Leafs.
So I actually think McKinnon has a very strong case to be the front runner for the MVP. And
absolutely.
We'll see what the writers say. We'll see if they, where the Avs finish in the overall playoff picture compared to where the Tampa Bay Lightning finish, and see where these races go as the season progresses. I do believe a lot of these teams have, I believe every single one of these teams is in the race for the playoffs. So Tampa Bay is currently sitting third in the Atlantic Division with 59 points. They look to potentially be fighting for a wild card spot with the Toronto Maple Leafs right there. As that third, they're right there neck and neck. Boston and Florida are both running away with the Atlantic. Boston's at 71 points. Florida Panthers at 66 points. I said 71, I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Bruins, again, they're repeating their success from last year. Avs are sitting in first, 67 points, just ahead of Dallas with 49 games played. Winnipeg still has 2 games in hand, and they're down at 65 points. So Vancouver Canucks, 71 points. Golden Knights, 64 points. And Edmonton is sitting in third with 59 points. So they've had a resurgence. Good grief of it, they had a resurgence.
Yeah.
What are they, 60?
Big 61? One.
Or 16 straight games with a win, I believe, is where they officially sit. 16 straight games with a win. So that's quite impressive for this team that struggled early in the year. And I cannot wait to see matchups with the Edmonton Oilers. We have not played them yet. They have not played us. That's a 3-game series this regular season. There's a lot to be said in that race right there.
Yeah.
So the other player for the Colorado Avalanche that is in a trophy race is Cale Makar. Cale Makar is up for the Norris Trophy. He's one of the candidates, I think, in across the NHL for best defenseman in the league. He's currently second in scoring by a defenseman with 52 points and trails Quinn Hughes with 62 points. Quinn Hughes is going to be the biggest challenge for him and could win this award. Cale Makar is off the pace a little bit. Quinn Hughes is projected for 104 points. Such an amazing performance by the Vancouver Canucks as an organization and what they're doing in the Pacific Division and their success this year. So hats off to them. I think we've only played them once. We still have 2 games to go against them. We won the first matchup against the Canucks 5-2 earlier in the season. There's a game against them, I think, February 20th here in Colorado. And then the second game against them is later on in March in Vancouver, March 13th. I believe that's one of our last back-to-back games of the season. Oh, no, second to last back-to-back game of the season for the Colorado Avs, as the March 12th and 13th, they take on the Calgary Flames and then the Vancouver Canucks. So definitely something to watch for there as the Avs, look to try to help some of their players close in on some of these races. Cale Makar is only projected for 97 points. He's a bit off his pace. He hasn't been scoring and hasn't been as proficient in the assist department as of late, but we should see if that picks up a little bit. It has the potential to pick up. An interesting name to see in this race is Noah Dobson for the New York Islanders, 87 points right now. He's climbing up, and Victor Hedman's sitting around there lingering a little bit. So these are the top 4 people in the scoring department for defensemen. Something I think they take into account for defensemen in the Norris Trophy is their ability not only to score points, but their defensive abilities as well. And I think this is going to be a two-horse race between Cale and Quinn as the season progresses. So, what do you think? What do you think of Mr. Cale Makar here, Jenna?
Well, he's kind of been picking up in the last 6 games. He extended it. He has a 6-game point streak, 10 points, 3 goals, 7 assists. So I think that he's gonna. I don't count him out just yet. I think that he'll pick up some speed after the All-Star break.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he is one of our All-Stars on the team for sure, and will be representing the Colorado Avalanche this upcoming weekend alongside Nathan McKinnon and Alexander Georgiev. So not as much rest as he could possibly want. I know there are some people saying, don't vote Cale in, let him get some rest. I'm just like, he could go. He could put in like 80% effort and still,
it's not like it's a game.
Yeah.
It's not like he's going to be out there for 30 minutes.
Yeah, he's going to go out. He's going to skate a little bit. He's not going to do a ton. It's entertainment value. It builds the brand name. It builds his likability as a player. So,
especially with those Kraken fans.
But here's another fun part about Cale Makar. He can officially become the greatest defenseman in Avalanche history with the next 6 points he scores, whether it be goals or assists. More likely assists. So he is currently the all-time leading scorer as a defenseman in goals by a defenseman for the franchise, as he passed Tyson Barrie. I think he currently has 77 goals in his career as for the Avalanche. He is 3 points away from tying the franchise lead in points by a defenseman, and he is 5 assists away from tying franchise record for assists by a defenseman. Wow. So with his next 3 points, he will tie Tyson Barrie, who was a third-round draft pick by the Avalanche, in points scored by a defenseman. But with his next 5 assists, he will tie the assist lead, also set by Tyson Barrie. Tyson Barrie was the greatest defenseman in Avalanche history.
Yeah.
Who is still playing, by the way. He's with the Nashville Predators. He currently has 501 points overall in his career. I believe like 305 of those are with the Avalanche. But with the next 6 points, Cale Makar will become the greatest defenseman in Avalanche history and take over the lead for points scored all time by a defenseman. And if those next 6 points are all assists, he will take over both categories. Assists by a defenseman, points by a defenseman. Mm-hmm. And his name's going to go down as one of the greatest defensemen in Avalanche history. But when you're the 4th overall pick in your draft in the first round as a defenseman, people expect greatness from you, and that's exactly what we got from Cale Makar. So I would definitely say, and his career is young. He's only in his 5th year, people.
He's only 25. He's only 25.
Can you imagine, like, the numbers that this guy can put up if he plays a full 20-year career?
That's crazy.
A full 20-year career. If he plays points, let's see, defenseman, no, points, scoring by a defenseman. Let's see. Most points defenseman career. Tyson Barrie has had 307. If I go to another team, good grief, I don't even know where to go.
Yeah.
Let's go to Boston. Let's see what Boston's got. Scoring by a defenseman. Ray Bourque. Ray Bourque played 1,500 games in his career with the Boston Bruins. 395 goals, 1,111 assists, 1,506 total points.
Wow.
Bobby Orr, legendary defenseman for the Boston Bruins, and somebody that Cale Makar has been compared to a lot. 264 goals, 624 assists for 888 points in his career. And as I said, with the Colorado Avalanche, the scoring by a defenseman, most points in a career. Cale Makar currently sits with 304, 5 years into his career. Bobby Orr, who he gets compared to, is 888. That is insane.
That's crazy.
That's insane to think about. Let's go check out another team. Let's go to one of the original 6. Montreal Canadiens. Larry Robinson, one of the greatest defensemen for the Montreal Canadiens, had 883 points in his career.
Wow.
You go to let's check out Toronto.
I was going to say, how about Toronto?
Toronto, Bjorn Salming, 768 points. You can't make these things up.
That's crazy.
Let's go even further back. Let's go back to some defunct franchises. Let's check this out. The Hamilton Tigers.
Oh my.
There's not much there. I'm kidding, guys. There's not much there. You look at Buffalo Sabres records, for defensemen scoring in their career, points for a defenseman's career. 558 for Phil Holsley. Go back to Carolina franchise because the Hartford Whalers. Yep. Nothing, not much there. He's got them beat. Calgary Flames. Al McGinnis, 822 points. Full career, 803 games. Wow. Let's see. Who else do we want to check out? No, nothing there. Yeah, I kid you not. This guy's had an amazing career. There you go. Detroit Red Wings, Nicholas Lindstrom. 1,564 games played, 264 goals, 878 assists, 1,142 points.
Wow.
And we're talking, these are full careers, people. Full careers.
Right.
15 plus years in the league for some of these players. And Cale Makar is currently sitting at, what did I say?
84.
304.
304.
You were witnessing something great in Cale Makar, and I know he is the humblest of humble people when it comes to what he does and how he does it. He's like, I'm just here to play hockey. I'm just here to play a game I love. I love his attitude about it, 100%.
I do too. Yeah. It's one of the things that I think makes him special.
So, food for thought there, people. Whether Cale Makar wins the Norris Trophy again or not, the guy's already making a name for himself. And is going to be a legend in the community. Hey, look at that. I did have Zach Parise down in my notes. He did sign a 1-year deal. Will join the Avs on a 6-game road trip. Valeri Nichushkin currently remains in the player assistant program. We've given our thoughts on the signing. I think it's an interesting signing to say the least.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I feel like the Avs have a tendency to go more towards the young players. So for them to bring in an older player, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, he's like we said, 39 years old, veteran presence. It has become official. It has just crossed my phone on Bleacher Report. Vancouver is trading for Elias Lindholm. Flames sending center to Canucks in exchange for package, including Andrei Kuzmenko. It just crossed my feed. Elias Lindholm is no longer on the trade market as he is going to the Vancouver Canucks. Huge signing for the Vancouver Canucks as they strengthen their roster heading into the back half of the season. That is massive deal. Elias Lindholm is 29 years old. He's a unrestricted free agent heading into the offseason this year. He's making $4.85 million right now. The Calgary Flames are falling apart.
What is going on in Calgary? Because now that's Zadorov has left.
Nikita Zadorov was wanting out. I mean,
Lindholm.
That's not a big deal. Zadorov, big defensive guy, but everything.
Kadri wants out.
Nazem Kadri doesn't want to be part of a rebuild, which is what the Calgary Flames are looking at. So Kadri's looking to find his way out. Elias Lindholm was their big trading piece. Huberdeau or whoever it was, Goudreau. I think it was Goudreau was with them last year. Signed some dumb deal to go play in Columbus. Congratulations, you got your money. Enjoy not making the Stanley Cup playoffs for the next. How long was your contract, Goudreau? Yeah, that long. Unless you go get traded somewhere else. But so Valeri Nichushkin remains in the player assistance program. Hopefully, we get him back at some point. I don't know. We can speculate on why he went. I kind of speculated it had something to do with some pain issues and how he was managing it. Yeah. We all kind of feel that way with, the broken foot he played on in the Stanley Cup playoffs and whatnot, finals and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see there. But with the signing of Parise, that kind of opens a window for the Colorado Avalanche, who are usually ahead of the game when it comes to the trade deadline and looking to strengthen and bolster their roster. Do you feel, Jenna, in your mind? I've got mine, and we'll talk about mine. And I've got some articles I'm writing in regards to this for Mile High Sticking. Right. Do you feel that the Avs could make any additional trades or signings ahead of the March 8th trade deadline?
I don't know. It's gonna be tricky because of the cap space, but I really, really feel like they need to do. I think we need another I think a goaltender possibility and a second line center. We've got to get that center position shored up to go into the playoffs.
For sure. Both are huge, massive issues and holes for the Colorado Avalanche right now.
Glaring issues.
If you go back to Nazem Kadri when he came here, he solidified that second line center position, which gave the Avs a little more flexibility in mixing up their top two lines, which made them a powerful enemy opponent for a lot of other teams. Since Nazem Kadri's departure, because he went to the Calgary Flames for a larger contract, he wanted to make his money, which for somebody who had been on a year deal, 3, small deals and whatnot for most of his career, he's looking out for himself and his family. I get that. I respect it. It's kind of backfired, and which is surprising to me. You see it happen in the NFL. You see it happen in the NFL a lot. A team goes and wins the Super Bowl, and you have free agents who are looking at the team like, man, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that success. And they're calling other teams and being like, hey, I will take a pay cut to come play with you guys. You guys can pay me this much money a year, to come play with you guys and bolster your roster. I'm 100% in. I would think the NHL would kind of do that too, and that's kind of the way the Avs have been playing it lately. They have their draft picks. They drafted Alex Newhook, who was a centerman. He was young, which is what the Avs needed for their roster. They needed somebody on that ELC type contract to take a roster spot to kind of keep the cap hit low and everything. And he just didn't work out. So they used him to trade and turn around and got Ross Colton in that deal. And the Roaring 20 lines has been a huge success. You've got Logan O'Connor with Miles Wood and Ross Colton. And while Miles Wood isn't necessarily, knocking down doors and doing the best, doing what we expected him to do in his first year with the Avalanche, he's on a 6-year deal for relatively cheap, like $2.5 million a year. This guy's going to blossom into something, hopefully. So I'm not really concerned with that, even though people are, there are some analysts saying this is probably the worst deal that one of the worst in the NHL this year. I'm like, whatever, guys. It's the first year of a 6-year deal. Chill. He's playing third line minutes. It's not,
and he's not young.
It'd be different if he was playing on the second line and expected to eat 20 minutes a game, but he's not right. So I'm not concerned about that. And head coach Jared Bednar has made it very clear he is not breaking up that line. He is not moving Logan O'Connor up to the second line center position because the Roaring 20s line is doing a phenomenal job.
They're producing
doing well. Logan O'Connor's having a career year, and I'll dive into Logan O'Connor a little bit more and why he's a valuable trade asset, but I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't like him as a trade asset.
I know, I don't either. But let's talk about some potential goalies. We've heard a lot about Marc-Andre Fleury possibly being available for the Colorado Avalanche to go and kind of snack on. As the Minnesota Wild are currently sitting, I believe, in 7th in the Central. Yeah, 7th with 47 points. So they've kind of fallen off. They had the coaching change. It looked great for a moment, and now it's kind of backfired on them.
Yeah.
So Marc-Andre Fleury is on an expiring contract with the Minnesota Wild. I think he's making like 3-point-something million this year, which is a bit much. Like you pointed out, Jenna, the Avs don't have cap space. They are zilch. They have nothing available. So if they do trade, it's going to be either somebody on the active roster, prospect, or somebody from the Eagles, or one of somebody playing on another team, one of their recent drafted prospects, or it's going to be draft picks. Exactly. 9 times out of 10, when an NHL team gives up a draft pick, a high quality draft pick of some sort, $3.5 million. Yeah. So we nailed it. Thanks, Graham. But if you're wanting to go after somebody like Marc-Andre Fleury, who is on an expiring deal just to make a cup run right now, you can, but you're going to have to give something up for him. And Minnesota's likely going to add for some draft capital or something similar in return. But you want Minnesota to retain that cap hit. Basically pay for Marc-Andre Fleury to play for you. Kind of what we're doing with Ryan Johansson with Nashville. When we got Ryan Johansson, Nashville ate 50% of his salary on his contract so that the Avs could squeeze him in under the salary cap. So Marc-Andre Fleury is one of those targets for me. One of the other targets I looked at, and probably not likely because of where the Rangers are in the standings, they're currently in first place in their division, is Jonathan Quick, who is playing the 1B to Igor Shesterkin's 1A for the Colorado for the New York Rangers. I wish he was an Avalanche. Talking about Jonathan Quick here, one of the greatest American goaltender, American-born goaltenders out there. So, he is on a veteran minimum deal with the New York Rangers, which makes him super enticing, and why I have him in my list for potential targets for goalie. $825,000 is the veteran minimum in the NHL. So that is a super team friendly deal. And, the reason why the Avs didn't look at him during the offseason is because they had Pavel Francouz. Pavel Francouz was available. He was healthy. And then he had a massive injury that happened during training camp and was going to be out as he recovered from what was likely a hip or pelvic bone related surgery of some sort. And he's a pending free agent, unrestricted free agent. So I don't know if Pavel Francouz will be back with the Avs. It'd be nice to see, but I don't think it'll happen. I'm not holding my breath on that. But the great thing with a potential Marc-Andre Fleury, if you do get him, is these are both 3-time champion winning goaltenders, and Marc-Andre Fleury or Jonathan Quick. They've both won the cup 3 times.
3 times.
So they know what they're doing in that. And being able to provide some relief to somebody like Alexander Georgiev, who has been one of the workhorse goaltenders in the NHL the last 2 seasons, would be huge. In the last 2 seasons alone, Alexander Georgiev has been the starter in 100 games. 103 games over the last 2 seasons so far, and we still got 33 games left in this season. So you need somebody to get that. But with the Rangers, if you can finagle a little bit, I think Justus Annunen with his youth, with how young he is, and I think he still has another year left on his contract before he becomes an RFA, you could potentially use him as a trade bait. I don't necessarily think the Avs are ready to give up on Annunen as a potential future starter, but I think the possibilities there for him to be shipped off. But there was another goalie. I can't remember who it was. I saw Evan Rowell bring up. I'll have to look into it and add it into my article later. But there are some players who are available to. With that.
Don't do that.
So,
Sorry.
All good. It was easy just to ship you off the screen there for a second.
The dog
deal with that. So let's move on from that. The Avs can make additional trades. We're looking for a second line center. Should they target somebody of that sort? Who would be a potential fit for the Avalanche? And if the Avs were to target a second line center or somebody to fill that void, if they want to move on from Ryan Johansson as an individual, who should they target in that case? And in that case, should they look for a long-term solution or should they look for a short-term solution in that spot? And there are some individuals that another reporter, Ewan Raywall, sorry, I got the name wrong, or I think it's Evan. I don't know if I misspelled it or not in my notes here. but he listed these players along the slider here are players that he listed as potential targets. We can go ahead and cross Elias Lindholm off that list as he has just been traded to the Vancouver Canucks. So yeah, that won't happen. But there are some other players.
Jenna's sorry, my computer died.
Her computer just said, "We've had enough. We're out."
Oh my god! One of these days, I'll make it through a show without having technical difficulties.
That's all good. But we're just talking about some center options for the Colorado Avalanche. Along our slider, there are some options. Elias Lindholm obviously is not available as he was just traded to the Vancouver Canucks. I don't know if he'll sign a new contract with the Canucks or if he'll become a UFA in the offseason. That'll have to wait to be seen. But some other options are centerman Adam Henrique with the Anaheim Ducks. He's 34 years old, veteran presence. He's going to be a UFA in the offseason, as is Sean Monahan with the Montreal Canadiens, who is 29 years old and is on a more team-friendly deal, as far as salary cap goes, $1.95 million. Also projected to be an unrestricted free agent. Is a lot like Ryan Johansson, great centerman, not a whole lot of speed, so I don't know if he'll match up well with the Avalanche and the way they attack the game. So those are some older veteran options for the Avs to look at if they want to address in the short term. But in the long-term goal of things, there are a couple of options out there, which one of these players has been in the news a lot lately for not being such a great teammate and not being as promising as he was when he was originally drafted, and that's Trevor Zegras with the Anaheim Ducks. He just signed a new deal with the Ducks for $5.75 million a year. He's a restricted free agent in 2026. So there's some money on that contract. So if the Avs were going to look at somebody like that, it could, there could be some draft capital and stuff going the other way. I don't necessarily think the Avs will want to go that long term with a player like that because of what they have in the system.
Yeah.
Another potential target would be Casey Middlestat with the Buffalo Sabres, who I think is technically a third line center for the Buffalo Sabres right now with the signings and whatnot that they've had. But he's at $2.5 million a year, and he's a restricted free agent in the offseason. So there's a little more wiggle room there, I would think, with that possibility. But the other possibility is the Avs just stand pat with what they have because they have no cap space. And the recent success of one Callum Ritchie since he returned from injury and off-season shoulder surgery, as he played a lot of his previous season with a busted-up shoulder. He is tearing it up with the Oshawa Generals. I think he's got like 22, 23 games played, and he's got like 47, 48 points already.
Crazy.
Is tearing it up in the CHL. So the Avs got looks like an absolute steal in the draft as his draft stock fell because a lot of teams weren't sure how his shoulder was holding up and how well he was going to do. So there are multiple possibilities there. Ryan Johansson, I think, is the short-term solution for the Avs. They'll get what they can out of him and hope, whether it's next season or the season after, that Callum Ritchie is ready to move to the NHL level. I think a lot will depend on what happens in the offseason. I think Callum will be part of that rookie training camp, and we'll get some playing time with some of the Avs, and we'll be invited to training camp and the preseason workouts and preseason games and whatnot. So we might get to see a little bit of Callum Ritchie in the preseason, and that's definitely something I'm looking forward to when next season comes around. Yeah. And seeing how well that progresses and see if he earns his spot on a roster. I mean, the guy's 18, 19?
I think he's 18. He's young.
He's a young guy. But we've had young players join this team and have immediate success. Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, Roland Skog. 19 years old.
19.
He recently celebrated his birthday, January 21st. He was 19 years old, 2005.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, God, she said, no.
Don't say their birthday, Scott. Just don't.
Yeah.
Here.
You gotta look at him, though.
Look at him. Don't tell me.
Young, talented players is what the Avs are looking for, and I think that's what they got with Callum Ritchie. So we should be able to see him, hopefully see him soon. So with that being said, I would love to see the Avs kind of peruse, see what's out there as far as centerman goes. Kind of always having an eye towards the future and everything, and seeing what's out there. I don't necessarily think it's going to be something that they look after and give a lot of thought to. You've got Olofsson, who's on the front on the fourth line. You've got Olausen, who they drafted a few years ago. So there are some potential candidates in the system already to come and fill that role. It's just they want to make sure they're the best possible fit right there. Right. And with how successful Ritchie's being in the CHL, I don't think the Avs are going to go for a long-term answer. Johansson might just be the guy we have to run with for now.
For right now, yeah.
I haven't perused the free agent market to see if there's anybody who hasn't signed with a team that is still out there and potentially available.
Yeah.
But I'll look some more into that and see what I find. But that's about it. And as I said, guys, Spottrack.com, which is what I use to look at salaries and cap space and everything else. It lists the Avs as having no money available in their cap space. They have nothing available. They are maxed out. Any trade the Avs make right now is going to involve either current players on the roster to free up that cap space, or a trade partner retaining cap for draft pick compensation. So it's walking a very, very thin line right there for the Colorado Avalanche. And I know a lot of teams might be calling the Avs and being like, hey, that Callum Ritchie kid over in the CHL, we really like him. We want to talk some numbers. If you're the Avs, you can listen all you want, but that is not somebody I'm willing to trade away right now with how successful he's been since returning from his surgery. That is somebody I'm looking to add to my own roster in the coming season or whatnot. So definitely not going to move on him. Mikhail Gulyayev, I believe, is somebody I might look at. The defenseman that Avs drafted in the first round this previous year. Currently playing over in the Continental Hockey League, KHL. While he's not stateside, he's not an immediate asset that I think the Avs will be looking to trade. And with unfortunately what's going on overseas, I don't think a lot of teams are going to be interested in traveling down that rabbit hole just yet. It might be something that they look at in the off season when when they can find safe routes for scouts to observe Mikhail in action.
Right.
So I don't necessarily think he's going to be the great, Mikhail's a good option for the Avs. I think he's a right shot defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that pans out as the Avs potentially move on from some other defensemen after the season is completed. But that is going to do it for our show. As we said, the Avs will be kicked. Oh, we got to talk about one more thing. The AllStar game.
Oh yeah,
is this weekend. So the AllStar game is official for this weekend, as the Avs have three representatives going to the AllStar game this year.
Third consecutive time.
Yep, we've got Nathan MacKinnon representing the Colorado Avalanche, and he will be the captain for one of the four teams this year. His assistant will be teammate Cale Makar, and their their other captain, or their celebrity captain, is Canadian multi-platinum singer, songwriter, and dancer Tate McRae. And they will be wearing the yellow All-Star jerseys this year. For those of you that don't know, I think it was Justin Bieber who worked with the Toronto Maple Leafs organization and some of the people who designed their jerseys to design these All-Star game jerseys that they have going on. There's blue, there's a red, a yellow, and I believe what was the other one? Blue, red, yellow, and I think the other one was a white.
Oh, okay.
Jersey that these 4 teams will be wearing this year. I think it's like a bubble design or something like that. Justin Bieber is one of the celebrity captains for the for Team Matthews with Austin Matthews and Morgan Riley. Team McDavid will be led by obviously Connor McDavid with Leon Draisaitl as his assistant, and Toronto-born actor Will Arnett is their celebrity captain. And the other team was going to be led by Devil center Jack Hughes, who I believe is not going to be there. He will be an off-ice participant. His brother Quinn Hughes will be his assistant, and will take his place, and Elias Pettersson will be their assistant, and Grammy Award-winning musician Michael Bublé will be their celebrity captain in that one. So tomorrow, February 1st, for anybody who's interested in watching, I'll probably check on it. The NHL AllStar Player Draft will happen with the NHL Alumni Association Men of the Year, which will honor the 1967 Maple Leafs, and the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 showcase will happen. For those of you that know, that's the Professional Women's Hockey League, and that has been an amazing experience. If you guys haven't watched any of it,
really
these women are having a blast out there on the ice. They're having a great time.
Yeah,
and it's fun. I saw a TikTok video not too long ago. A couple of these skaters, these female skaters, talking about hits happening on the ice. A lot, and it's interesting to see as with professional women hockey continues to grow, this might change a little bit. But if you look at NCAA level and other levels of women's hockey, hitting isn't allowed.
No.
It is an automatic penalty if you make contact with another player, and it gets progressively worse the harder you hit them.
Mm-hmm.
Professional Women's Hockey League was like, yeah, you guys can hit.
Yeah, but
Go for it. Have fun.
Yeah.
And listening to these ladies talk about, yeah, I've got bruises and this, that, and the other, and like, they're not complaining about it. They actually absolutely love it, and I'm loving the energy and emotion and everything that these women are being able to experience in playing full contact hockey for the first time in their professional careers or their careers in general. It's awesome to see, and they are having an absolute blast. So, looking forward to seeing the women hit the ice tomorrow evening for their 3-on-3 showcase. It's fantastic to see the sport of hockey grow, and looking forward to seeing it improve a whole lot more. Then on February 2nd, Friday, as we move forward in the All-Star series, is the 2024 NHL All-Star Skills presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. There is a $1 million winner-take-all prize with 12 All-Stars competing in this competition. The 12 players listed for this competition are JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, and Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks, Austin Matthews, Willem Nylander of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar with our Colorado Avalanche, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl with the Edmonton Oilers, Nikita Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning, David Pastrnak of the Boston Bruins, and Matthew Barzal of the New York Islanders, who is replacing Jack Hughes, who is out due to injury. These 12 skaters are going to compete in a skills competition, which is kind of like a decathlon of the Olympics. They're not doing individual competition skills anymore. They're going to compete across all these skills. There's going to be, I believe, 8 events in total. There's the fastest NHL skater, the hardest shot, NHL's this upper deck NHL stick handling competition, the Tim Hortons NHL one-timers competition, the Scotiabank NHL passing challenge, and the Cheetos NHL accuracy shooting. All 12 of these players will compete. First place of each skill gets awarded 5 points. Second place 4, third place 3, fourth place 2, fifth place 1, so on, so on, and so on. As they progress, I think after the first 4 events, a couple players are eliminated, then they move on, and they'll keep doing this in that way. The top 8 will advance to the 7th event, which is the shootout challenge. And after the shootout challenge, the top 6 will advance to the final event, which is everybody's favorite event. If you've been to an NHL game, you kind of see Pee Wee leagues do the obstacle course challenge. So they're going to bring that back. So we've got an obstacle course challenge, which will include all the skills and are worth double the points. So first place is worth 10, second place 8, and then whoever's left standing will take home the $1 million prize for the All-Star Skills Challenge. So they're trying to make it more entertaining, and I will probably watch.
I think I'm going to watch.
I'm looking forward to this skills challenge thing going on. So, and then, of course, Saturday is the big official end of it, and that is going to be the All-Star game, which will continue the 3-on-3 format that they introduced in 2016. This is where you'll see all that. But we have a full list of players for this game. All 4 teams are going to participate in a player draft. So it's not Central versus Pacific and Atlantic and Metro. It's everybody's got their team of players, their captain, their assistant, with their celebrity captain, and then it's just a list of players that are available. So you got, and here's our list of players. Frank Vatrano for the Anaheim Ducks. It's his first appearance. Clayton Keller for the Arizona Coyotes. Pasternak's one of the captains. Goalie Jeremy Swayman of Boston. Rasmus Dahlin for Buffalo. Elias Lindholm, who's listed as Calgary. It's his first appearance, but he's now with Vancouver. Sebastian Aho. Connor Bedard is listed as an All-Star, will not be participating due to the broken jaw. So he won't be playing. He'll be an off-ice participant. Our own Alexander Georgiev, Nathan McKinnon, and Cale Makar are both captains and assistants. Boone Jenner for Columbus. Jake Ottinger for Dallas is his first appearance. Alex DeBrincat for Detroit. Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are team captains. Sergei Bobrovsky is one of the goalies. Sam Reinhart, his first appearance for Florida. Cam Talbot for the LA Kings is getting the nod. Kirill Kaprizov for the Minnesota Wild, Nick Suzuki for Montreal, Philippe Forsberg for Nashville, Jack Hughes, who is injured, will be an off-ice participant, Jesper Bratt for the Devils, Matthew Barzal, who is another one of the captains, Vincent Trocheck, Igor Shesterkin, Brady Tkachuk, Travis Konecny, Sidney Crosby, Thomas Hertl, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Robert Thomas, Nikita Kucherov, Mitchell Marner, Austin Matthews, Willem Nylander, another captains, Morgan Riley, Frank Bozer, Thatcher Demko, Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, Jack Eichel, who is an off-ice participant due to injury, Tom Wilson, Kyle Connor, and Connor Hellebuyck. Those are your all-star players for the all-star roster for this year. So definitely going to be interesting. I think I saw 6 goaltenders. See, Connor Hellebuyck, Thatcher Demko, Igor Shesterkin, Kim Talbot, Jake Ottinger, Georgiev, and Swayman. 7 goaltenders. All got the nod. So kind of cool to see that many goaltenders. Usually you only see like 4 or 5. So definitely cool to see some goaltenders getting the love that they deserve, even though their teams may not be great or anything else going on, or they've struggled like Georgiev has struggled. but he's getting the nod. Most wins in the NHL right now. So very awesome to see. But yeah, as far as the All-Star game goes, I think I'm most interested in the skills challenge portion of this event for sure.
I agree. And
But
hopefully one of our boys will bring home the win.
I'm putting my money on McKinnon.
I wouldn't be surprised.
McKinnon's got by far what was it? A speed burst over 20 miles an hour or something like that. I think when they showed that stat a couple of weeks ago, he had like 400 something, and it was like double the next closest person. So the guy's got the speed, and he puts it on display on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So I think he's got the chance, and like his stick handling ability and his accuracy is just top notch. But so is Kale. So I'm going to root for the home for the home team guys with the Colorado Avalanche when it comes to the skills competition. As far as the 3-on-3 All-Star game format stuff, I'm just not that interested. Goalies aren't really trying. It doesn't really do a lot for me if they're just kind of just back and forth. It's entertaining. They're having a good time. They're trying to come up with trick shots and stuff like that. So there's some entertainment value to it there. But this is the one part of the NHL and hockey that I really don't truly enjoy is the All-Star game itself. The skills competition, I think, is their biggest selling point, and I think that's why they're making a bigger deal of it. Like, honestly, I'm not a big basketball person, but if I'm gonna watch a full All-Star game, like game of selected athletes for an All-Star series, the NBA All-Star game is probably where I would go. Right. It's entertaining. It's a true exhibition, Harlem Globetrotter trick shot, blah 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 type stuff that I would enjoy more than what hockey puts on. There's not a lot you can change in hockey when it comes to game structure that is going to be entertaining. I am waiting to see if Jenna is going to come back so we can say goodbye. Probably not. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. It's been a pleasure having you guys on the show. I really enjoy coming on the show again and doing this for you guys. So please, if you like what you see, if you're entertained, whatnot, please reach out to us and participate. We're always looking for people to join the show, looking for fans. This is a fan-ran show. So if you want to join us, talk some Avs hockey, talk some hockey in general, more than happy to have you guys. So reach out, check in, join us. But until then, Jenna's back. Say goodbye.
Bye. Dog
Jenna, any parting wisdom to the people?
No, don't have dogs when you live in an apartment.
Yeah, I always went with a cat living in an apartment. I'm a cat person myself. So. He just wants his attention. He's over it. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for spending some time with us. Until next time, we'll see you guys. And as always, let's go Avs.